Hi everyone. This is the February 2026 update for the 5K small account challenge and the 5x 50K prop firm challenges that I'm doing with Lucid. So this is 1 month into it. Firstly, I want to say that the 5K small account is currently in about a 2.7% drawdown. Not a big deal to me. Really, it only took one trade and lost $75. The rest actually came from Rithmic fees. So whenever I trade my main account, I trade with AMP Futures as the broker, and that's because they have the cheapest commissions per trade. Now, if you have a larger account, that's probably what you care about, especially if it's trading a lot, because what's going to eat into your cost the most is not the Rithmic fees, which are fixed, but instead the per trade fees. Well, with the $5,000 small account, I failed to take into account that $40 a month is almost 1% of the account balance. So 1% of 5,000 is $50 a month. So the Rithmic fees are almost 1%. And so what I'm going to do is open an account with another broker that has cheaper fees, Optimus Futures, and I'm going to spend about a week to make that transition, hopefully before the end of February. Just move this account over there. And then that should allow the account to mainly have its returns be based on the trades, because it's really hard to keep up with a 1% deficit every single month. That can be tough. The other thing about new brokers, new data feeds, etc., as an algo trader is that you have to learn them. So there's always quirks with them, and a lot of people assume that you back test, then you set up the infrastructure, and then you start trading. It's just going to work. Whereas the reality is, you usually have to learn the quirks and then tune your algos to kind of compensate for them, and then eventually you have a mostly stable setup that works. And even in discretionary trading, you have this to some degree, but I feel like algo traders feel it a lot more. And that's kind of the theme of this, is that after I move the small account over to Optimus Futures, I'm going to also turn on a gold strategy and a Dow strategy, just so I can see more quirks, or some of the quirks that Optimus Futures has, and see how I might need to update all my algos to compensate for those. I'll touch on that sort of compensation at the end of this video, where I will show you an actual error I got from Lucid, the Lucid Rithmic servers, I should say, just as an example. So let's talk about the LucidFlex evals. They're all out of sync, but this is to be expected. What may not be expected is how out of sync they are. So right now, almost all of them are about $100, $50 to $100 drawdown. That's because of my flip algo. So Lucid has a rule that says if you don't trade within a week, or if you have 5 trading days of no activity, um, then your account will be closed for not being active. So I set up a algo, and this is in the Discord as well, if you're part of the Patreon, where all it does is it just flips a micro Nasdaq contract with a small stop loss and profit target, just to prevent that. I have recently updated that now, so you can just pick a day of the week to flip instead. So what you're seeing here is flipping every single day, and that's why the drawdown is stacking up so much. The modified version I'm going to be using moving forward will only flip once a week. So hopefully that will prevent me from just having. I mean, I honestly had some pretty bad luck. I looked at all the flip days, and it was like I hit the stop loss on almost every single flip day that occurred. So if you consider that a micro Nasdaq contract is about $2 a point, and then because of the way M and Q can move and slippage, I typically set about a 2-point profit target and 2-point stop loss for the micro flip. And of course, I've lost almost all of those, as you can see. If you just multiply the number of trading days taken here by 4, you get roughly the negative return that's shown there. So hopefully reducing it down to once a week will be much better. Now, I'm going to talk about this account at the top left with a $1,300 profit target that's just way out of sync with the others. So that micro flip strategy that I just talked about, I got an error with LucidFlex, or with Lucid's Rithmic servers, I should say, where it closed the micro flip, but then immediately opened another position. And I didn't realize this until the next day. So I woke up about 18 hours after the position was open, saw that it was long, I check my trading BPS as part of my morning routine, or a little bit after my morning routine, and I saw that I had a Lucid account open with a long position that was massively in profit because I got lucky and it was a day where NQ moved, um, and so I immediately flattened, and that's where the $1,300 in profit came from. Um, the other thing I want to address here is some of you may be wondering, okay, the small account, we took a trade and we lost about $75. So where is that trade with these LucidFlex account? Because two of these accounts only have like a $60 drawdown. So where's the $75 loss? Well, you know how I was talking about the quirks of a new broker, quirks of a new data feed? Well, the way that my SPY to ES algo works is it generates the signal on SPY's close and then it enters in the open of the overnight session. So here, if you look at the time on the second line, it says 2300. That's UTC time, which is roughly 6 p.m. Eastern time. And then if you go look at the bottom two lines of this, it says cannot open position while in no trade time window. And I it's interesting because I have never had this issue with another prop firm. And I guess I'll go ahead and name the other ones I've used. So I've used Apex, has never had an issue with this. Bullinox has never had an issue with this. Elite Trader Funding has never had an issue with this. Top Step has never had an issue with this. And Phidias has never had an issue with this. So Lucid Rithmic server, I believe what happened was there was a desync or maybe just a delay between the Rithmic market open and Lucid's Rithmic server time. Because when you get rejected saying that you cannot trade in the no trade window, well, firstly, Lucid allows the full CME trading window. So this is basically saying that my algo attempted to open a position before market open, which is not actually true because all my other accounts were able to take this trade. So what I've done is I said, okay, you know what? There might be a delay or a disconnect between the actual market open and the Lucid Rithmic server. So I'm going to add a check in all of my algo strategies to check at 6:01 p.m. Eastern time. And if the account doesn't have a position when it should, the strategy will attempt to market ordered. So I'm going to see if that fixes this issue. And if it doesn't, then I'm probably just going to have to like dive deeper or dig deeper, maybe even reach out to Lucid and say, hey, why am I getting a rejected when the market is clearly open? So again, that's just one of the quirks that you have to learn as an algo trader once you go live, is that every broker, every data feed, every Lucid has its own Rithmic servers, so there's always quirks you got to learn, and then you're like, okay, if I want to bulletproof all my algos against this broker or this data feed, then I need to capture all these errors, and then add checks into them that may affect strategy performance. But that's just the reality of algo trading, is that you back test, you come up with all the metrics, and then there's always going to be degradation. Like your back tested performance is never going to be as good as, or your back tested performance is always going to be better than live because of stuff like this that you may have to account for. So that's just something to be aware of. And part of the reason why I wanted to show this series in the first place is I'm going to show the reality of algo trading from someone who is running live. So that's my 1 month update. Please stay tuned for the next one. Hopefully I'll have the Optimus Futures migration done by then, and then hopefully I don't have this rejected for no trade time window error anymore as well.